Good morning, Dawgpound South campers. This is the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, which is part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill. Wow. We talked a little bit about it on Thursday. Well, actually, we talked a lot about it on Thursday, the Myles Garrett trade. And now details are starting to come out. If you have not read Albert Breer's article for SI.com, I would suggest you do so. It is fascinating, a fascinating look inside how this trade developed and how Andrew Berry works. Now, we all know Myles Garrett, Jared Verse, first round draft pick next year, second round draft pick in 28, third round draft pick in 29, and the third round draft pick in 29 becomes a first round draft pick if the Rams trade Myles Garrett to either Baltimore, Pittsburgh, or Cincinnati. Now, most people would say, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, if the Rams, with their 38-year-old quarterback, and they do this all the time, they did this to get to the Super Bowl in 2020. So they do this all the time. They trade draft assets to get to the Super Bowl before their window closes. And it's closing. Like I said, they have a 38-year-old quarterback. So Andrew Berry knows that. And he figures they're gonna go for it this year and next year. So if they win, eventually the Rams are going to have to tear everything down again, like they always do. And he knows that Myles Garrett's contract is going to be an albatross around their neck to tear things down again. So he just wanted to make sure in 2029 that they didn't pull a fast one and trade Myles Garrett to the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Cincinnati Bengals or the Baltimore Ravens. That's smart. That's thinking ahead. He knows how the Rams work and how the system works. And Rams fans are perfectly fine. If they can get to a Super Bowl every 6-7 years and win it, they're fine. They don't care. I'd like the Browns to at least get to one in my lifetime. I think they're going to. But I mean, that's just the way they work. That's their system. And it also explains, if you read the article by Albert Breer, it also explains why they took Ty Simpson early in this year's draft. They're already setting up for when Matthew Stafford no longer plays. They got their future quarterback this year because they knew they wouldn't have their first round pick next year. That's the way their system works. Everybody scratched their head when they drafted Ty Simpson, but that's the way it works with the Rams. And it worked in 2020. They won a Super Bowl. So they got OBJ. He got a ring. So now I'm going to go back to Albert Breer's article quite a bit. I read it. It's fascinating. I don't always agree with Albert Breer. Sometimes Mary Kay beats him to the punch, which for me is to say a lot. So the Browns were offered by the Rams 2 first-round draft picks in 2022. I'm not going to argue with that. In 2022, they were busy trying to find a new quarterback. So wouldn't that have been something? You ship off your first-round draft pick to Houston, and then you get a first-round draft pick back from the Rams. But I don't think they make the playoffs in 2023 without Myles Garrett. So that's a moot point. In 9 years, 3 teams have approached the Browns to trade for Myles Garrett. 9 years, 3 teams. Don't know which ones. Initially, The offer from the Rams was only draft capital. Browns did not like that deal, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. They originally, the Browns wanted 2 firsts and Verse, but the Rams wouldn't do it. And no deal without Verse. Rams also wanted the Browns to throw in draft picks, and Myles Garrett. Browns wouldn't do it, thank goodness. And we all know the trade was announced on Monday. It was finalized the Friday before. Now here's the real thing that I just love. They negotiated this deal. They've been negotiating this deal for 2 months, and there wasn't one leak. I keep saying, I say it on the Thursday show, I say it on this show, the Browns do not leak. They never do. How they kept everybody quiet for 2 months is amazing. That's just the power that the Browns can have over somebody who's going to trade. I mean, last year in the draft, the trade for Mason Graham, that got finalized a week before the draft, and still no leak. So if you hear any Cleveland media or national media tell you that, well, I've got sources in the building or Brown sources have told me, they are lying to you. This is the way this team operates. They do not leak. So I don't care what somebody says on the radio or what somebody says on TV. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And I'm happy for that. Let's keep these things quiet. Let's take a quick break. All right, we're back. Brought to you by Hemisphere Coffee, where they shake the hands of the farmer. All right, so also in this Albert Breer article, apparently Andrew Berry is part of a think tank buddy group with well-known GMs or successful GMs in other sports like MLB, NHL, NBA. And they talk on it. It's an informal little group of people, very smart, who run professional franchises. So Albert Breer says, he mentions a few of them that he talked to. Sam Presti, the GM of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this guy told Andrew Berry a story about when they were going to trade Paul George. And they got a buttload of draft capital. But they also got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander as a player. And he's won 2 MVPs, helped them win the NBA championship last year in 25. The GM of Oklahoma City told Andrew Berry, what did he tell him? He said draft picks are uncertain. Players are cash. So that makes sense. Also, he talked to Shane Bloom, who's now the GM of the St. Louis Cardinals, but back then he was GM of the Red Sox. And this is the guy who traded Mookie Betts to the Dodgers. And he gave Andrew Berry some advice about trading a team icon. He basically said, if you trade an icon, the player you get back must have a similar makeup, both in character and talent. Well, looks like he did that. So this little buddy think tank that Andrew Berry is part of, I think is intriguing and damn smart. I don't care if, you would not see a guy like John Dorsey joining a group like this, because John Dorsey was a narcissist. He only did things that were good for John Dorsey. And that's all he cared about. He didn't care about the Browns. He wanted to look good. So that, he hired Freddie Kitchens. He kept Hugh Jackson. So, sure. But it made him look good. It made him be in control. And that's all he cared about, was being in control. Being part of this think tank with other GMs from other sports who you can bounce ideas off of is just a great idea. I mean, you can, if the guy from the Red Sox, Bloom, had told him, "Hey, don't do it. I hated the fact that we had to trade Mookie Betts, and it really hurt." Well, then Andrew Berry probably wouldn't done it. But he can garner ideas from other people. It's all, when you look at something, it's always good to have as many eyes on the situation as humanly possible. So if you get a chance, find this article, Albert Breer, BREER, SI.com, read it. It's intriguing. It's thoroughly fascinating. If you really want to know how a team works on the inside, not by the idiots on the radio who say that they're all biased and they're only doing this for this reason or this or that reason. Andrew Berry is doing all this to make the Cleveland Browns competitive and to get as much talent on the roster. And this proves it in that article. One other thing I found interesting this week, since the trade on Monday. Sure, we were all shocked. All of us agreed with Alex Wright. Alex Wright, let's face facts, Myles Garrett helped get Alex Wright a new contract, because all the double and triple teaming on Myles Garrett left him open to get sacks and stop the run. So it made him a better player to have Myles Garrett on the other side. So, of course, and they were good friends. So, yeah, he said it for all Browns fans. When I heard the news, I felt like I should go out and get a drink. We all kind of felt that way. But then when we delve into the whys, the whats, the hows, through this article and what we know in the trade package, it looks better and better for the Cleveland Browns. But here's the one thing I find interesting. They also talked to Carson Schlesinger. And he spent more time, instead of talking about Myles Garrett, he spent more time talking about his golf swing. So then I got to thinking, somebody had mentioned to me that asked me how many current Browns players have wished Myles Garrett success with his new team. And, social media is part of life right now. It's, you are watching me or listening to me on social media, or you will later. So, yeah, social media is a big part of life now, and especially with pro players. I mean, they can tweet something with 6 emojis and it would drive people crazy. Everybody's got to figure it out. The people who, if it's a Browns player, there'll be people out there who hate the Browns and take their agenda, use it to advance their agenda. Or there'll be people who look at it and try to translate it like it's a dream. Translating dreams, if somebody comes up to you with I had this weird dream last night. Nobody knows except the person in his subconscious. So players do this all the time. Sometimes I think they do it on purpose just to screw with the media. And if they do that, bravo. But have you noticed no players have tweeted or whatever you want to call it that, wish you well, Myles, good luck, Myles, great having you as a teammate, Myles? Nothing. Crickets. Silence. No current players have posted on social media wishing him good luck with his new team. Now, as fans, we've always thought that Myles Garrett, we all know he wasn't a vocal leader. Everybody knows that. A lot of people suggested he wasn't a good leader at all. Some have suggested that he was a leader in the locker room when, the cameras weren't there. I bought into that. But now I'm seeing this, that the players aren't wishing him good luck with his next team. Maybe there's something going on in that locker room that nobody knew concerning Myles Garrett. Well, they all knew last year he wanted to be traded. He wanted to leave Cleveland. I'm sure that rubbed a lot of players the wrong way. And let's face facts, he's a little selfish. So maybe that rubbed the players the wrong way. Or maybe they're just keeping their heads down and want to concentrate on this year. I don't know what it is, but it says a lot. Is he Bo Callahan? Is Myles Garrett Bo Callahan? Did nobody go to his birthday party? I don't know, but it says a lot that the players on this team did not wish him well on social media. So let's get to the other player that now people are saying is going to be traded, Denzel Ward. You just look at this deal and how long it took to put together and how long and what the Browns got back. I don't think that they're going to trade Denzel Ward. Not this year. Anyway, he says he wants to stay in Cleveland. Born in Ohio, went to Ohio State. He understands the phrase Ohio against the world better than just like the fans do. So I don't see it happening unless the Browns get somebody of the same caliber at cornerback that they got at the same at defensive end that they got for Myles Garrett. Who's going to give up a young up and coming cover corner to trade for a 29-year-old, albeit a Pro Bowl cornerback? I just don't see it happening. I really don't. And, everybody is going to try to convince you, those that want to get your attention and get you to click on something will have all these articles and, next big Browns trade soon to happen. That bunch of garbage. Don't believe them. I know Andrew Berry said that he's not shopping Denzel Ward. No, fine. But if somebody comes back with a player similar to Jared Verse, but at cornerback, and some draft picks, he might think about it. I would think about it. I mean, you get back very talented players like the GM from the Red Sox. If you trade an icon, the player you get back must have similar makeup in both character and talent. That's what they'd have to get back if they trade Denzel Ward. So think about that. So that's it for this morning, this wonderful Sunday morning. Last day of CMA Fest here in Nashville. Over 300,000 people downtown spending their money, sweating their asses off, and drinking as much alcohol as humanly possible. Please, if you're here, hydrate. Please, let's give the first responders a break downtown. So also, as you all know, I was former president of the Middle Tennessee Browns backers. They're putting together tickets and a night before party for when the Browns come play. When do they come? October 25th. So they're putting up a Saturday night before party somewhere downtown, probably. Tailgate day of game. They do the best tailgates. When I was president, we did 2 tailgates that just were outstanding. So keep that in mind if you're planning on coming to Nashville. Remember, Nashville is designed to hold big events. They have about 64,000 hotel rooms downtown. That's why they got the 2030 Super Bowl. Note to the city leaders in Cleveland, better start adding hotels. That's the only way you're going to get a Super Bowl. And they can handle big events. So just keep that in mind. Keep track. Go to Middle Tennessee Browns Backers Facebook page. They will keep you up to date on ticket availability and what their plans are for Saturday night and the tailgate Sunday. So everybody, thank you for watching, listening, subscribing, and following us here at the Fanatical Elves Network. We're just Browns fans like you. So everybody, have a great day. And as always, go Browns.